everyone. So, last lesson we were thinking about self-regulation and how we might respond to a situation or behave towards someone. Today we're going to be thinking about the reasons why sometimes it is so difficult to self-regulate and to control our emotions. Some people think that self-regulation and emotional regulation, which is when we can control the emotions we feel, are a choice, and that if we aren't able to self-regulate, it is because we are choosing not to. But today, we're going to discover that it's a little more complicated than that, and it's all because of the chemicals in our brain. You already know a little bit about neuroscience and how our brain works, so let's just really briefly recap. You know that we have a downstairs part of the brain that is subconscious, and that means everything that happens in this part of the brain happens without us knowing about it. And it is in the downstairs brain where the amygdala is. That's the part of our brain that sends out the stress response to put us into fight, flight or freeze response to help us survive danger. And this happens without us being able to think about it or control it. And when the stress response is on, the thinking brain is shut down. It's really hard to self-regulate if we are stressed or if we're having really big feelings and emotions. You know that our brain has an upstairs brain, or a thinking brain. And this is called the Neocortex. And the prefrontal cortex is at the very front, and that is where self-regulation happens. And in this part of the brain, in the thinking brain, we are conscious of everything that happens. It's where our language centers are, and where we can think about ourselves and other people. We can learn, we can make choices. So today we're going to build on this knowledge a little more to begin to think about the different chemicals that are made and released into our brains and our bodies, and the good or the difficult things that happen to us because of them. Why? Well, because when you know about these chemicals and what they make us feel and how they make us behave, we can start to understand ourselves better, and we can learn how to self-regulate much easier. And most important to know is that the difficult and painful chemicals cannot be in our brains at the same time as the feel-good ones. So, when we are having a really difficult time, we can choose to do something or be with someone that we know will begin to release the feel-good chemicals. This will begin to make us start to feel better. And when we feel better, we can begin to self-regulate much more easily. So today, we're just going to look really briefly at what some of the brain chemicals are and how they make us feel. We'll spend the next few weeks focusing on just one chemical at a time so we can understand more about each one, how we get them, how they make us feel and behave, and the things in your life that create them. So by the end of this series of lessons, you will know what activities, what people, and what things in your life create the feel-good chemicals, so that you can use these things to manage the difficult chemicals better. And doing this will help you learn to self-regulate more easily. Let's start with the chemicals that make us feel really good. To help us remember what the feel-good chemicals all are, we can use the acronym D.O.S.E. All these hormones make our brains and bodies feel incredible. They make us feel light and tingly, relaxed or glowing, or giddy or fluffy, like we are unstoppable, and that the world is an exciting, safe and joyful place to be. Dopamine. This hormone is released when we are doing something that feels fun, exciting or really good, and when things feel like a reward, it can become addictive. The more dopamine that is released, the more we want. Dopamine helps us explore the world, keep learning, and doing the things that make us happy. It also helps our prefrontal cortex work better. So it helps us with our learning, and it helps our digestion. It makes us sleep better, and it helps us feel less pain. Oxytocin. This is the love hormone, and our brain is pumped full of it when we feel safe, loved, and looked after by the important people in our lives. We get big rushes of it when we are hugged or kissed by our loved ones, and we also get lots of it when we stroke our pets. It also helps our bodies heal from any damage or injury, and it helps us grow. Serotonin. This is the happiness hormone. When we are in a certain place or do something that makes us happy, and as we are all individuals, it'll be different for different people. Our brains get pumped full of it. It feels really, really good. It makes us have a good appetite, sleep well, and be in a good mood. Endorphins. This is a chemical that gets pumped into our bodies when we're doing something physical and active. It makes our bodies and brains feel alive. It gives us more energy, puts us in a better mood, and can even make us sleep better. But on the flip side of the coin are the chemicals that make us feel depressed, anxious, and in emotional pain. So that means our feelings are so big, it actually hurts us to feel them. But they can also make us feel pain in our bodies, even though we aren't injured. There isn't an acronym for this one. So cortisol. Cortisol, we know about this one already. It's what's released in the stress response. It gets our body prepared to either fight, flight, or freeze in response to danger. CRF, corticotrophin releasing factor. This one is particularly nasty. It makes our hearts race, our breathing fast, our bodies feel tense and uncomfortable. It makes us unable to focus and learn, unable to play. It makes us really quickly go into fight, flight, freeze. It makes us stop feeling hungry, and it stops us from sleeping well. Glutamate. In normal levels, glutamate helps send signals from nerves and cells in the body, and it helps us to concentrate and remember things. But when we get too much of this chemical, it starts to kill the cells. It makes learning really hard. Substance P. Too much of this chemical causes pain in the body and can make us feel anxious and depressed and feel sick. It also causes the inside of our bodies to get inflamed, which means it gets hot and swollen, and this can lead to us getting ill. And what's worse, these hormones themselves don't just make us feel bad on their own. They stop us from feeling any of the D.O.S.E hormones. Remember, you can't have the good ones and the bad ones at the same time. So when we don't feel the D.O.S.E hormones, we have extra pain and suffering just from stopping feeling them. So you see, the difficult chemicals, the feel bad chemicals, can make our lives feel miserable and painful and make it really hard to self-regulate. But it's not all doom and gloom. There is hope. Knowing about the brain chemicals helps us because we can choose to do things and be with people that make our brains and bodies get pumped full of the feel-good chemicals to make life begin to feel a lot more comfortable and safe. And when we feel good, we can self-regulate so much better. Over this series of lessons about the brain chemicals, you will learn how to feel more in control of your feelings and emotions, not just now, but for the rest of your life. And that is the greatest life skill you can have.